A pleasant evening, everyone. It's another No Movement Monday, but don't panic. Family Time is here to help you through it. Again, welcome to all our listeners on Love 101 FM. And of course, a special shout out to all those who are watching us via YouTube and our Facebook page. Family time is about your issues and your relationships. It's about your at home family, your community family, and indeed your global family. Family Time is produced by Family Life Ministries, and our aim is to enable healthy families that will lead to healthy nations. Stay with us and please join in. I'm your host, Sir Twain. Answer me this: what do you do after a stroke? You are the loved one. What is it like as the person who suffered the stroke? What is your reaction? What is the journey like to recovery? What would be some of the financial, emotional, physical, mental? What are some of the impacts that have on you? I imagine today we will be delving into the world of stroke recovery. And as we do, we want you, our listeners, our audience, to join in. So tell us, what is it like for you recovering from a stroke? And if you're the loved one of someone who has suffered a stroke, please share what the journey has been like as well. You may WhatsApp your texts and voice notes to 876 997 3125. You may call the studio lines at 876 968 8327 or 876 968 8328 to participate. Don't forget, you can post on our Love 101 Facebook page and you can comment on YouTube as you watch. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll be joined by our guest Amina Blackwood Meeks and her son Nita Meeks.
CIBC First Caribbean reminds you that our ABM cards will be deactivated on September 30, 2021 and upgraded to the Visa debit card. Your Visa debit card does everything your ABM card does and more. Use it at any ABM and to shop locally, internationally, and online with funds directly from your savings or checking account. Visit CIBCFCIB.com to sign up for a CIBC First Caribbean Visa debit card today.
This is the soothing sound of your finances being handled by Grace Kennedy Financial Group. And this? It's actually the relaxing noise of your car and home insurance, handled by experts you can trust. Trust Grace Kennedy Financial Group to do your banking, insurance, investments, money services, and more gracefully. Get to know us at gracekennedyfinancialgroup.com.
Are you importing a used vehicle from the USA, UK, Japan, Singapore, or the UAE? Please be reminded that all used vehicles, including equipment such as backhoes, excavators, forklifts, riding lawnmowers, and trailers, must be sanitized before importation. Contact Auto Terminal Japan at www.inspections.jp for pre-shipment inspection details. A message from the Trade Board Limited.
Bear forward! Is where you going? What do you mean? Me get my vaccine so me can touch the road now. Touch road? You know your ears are. The health people said this is only the first dose and we need 2 doses to be fully protected. Yeah? What do you mean? When me mean, we're waiting for the second dose, Mr. Sir. So you try turn your yard and go and follow the protocols. Wear your mask, wash your hand, and keep your distance from other people. Get vaccinated, get back to life. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Innovation, sophistication, windows and doors plus so much more. Lowest price guarantee, unique and trendy. Something for every room, now that's cool. Make your best home anything but ordinary. At Home and Things.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness invites members of the public to attend a vaccination site between Monday, August 30 and Tuesday, August 31. Please visit vaccination.moh.gov.jm on social media for details on location, opening hours, and vaccine types. Monday, August 30, Kingston and St. Andrew, National Arena, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Manchester, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Manchester High School, Porus High School, Mandeville Regional Hospital. St. Elizabeth, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Santa Cruz, Newell, Junction, and Black River Health Centers. Clarendon, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Summerfield Community Center, and Denby Primary School. On Tuesday, August 31, Kingston and St. Andrew, National Arena, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Manchester, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Manchester High School, Christiana Health Center, Malgully Health Center, and Mandeville Regional Hospital. St. Elizabeth, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Santa Cruz, Junction, and Black River Health Centers. Great Bay Town Square Cultural Center, Treasure Beach. Clarendon, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Lionel Town Health Center, Summerfield Community Center, Denby Primary School. Persons should take their school ID, child's birth certificate, a government-issued identification, or letter from a justice of the peace to the sites. Let's get vaccinated and get back to life.
Welcome back to Family Time on Love 101, and welcome to our special guests, Amina Blackwood Meeks and Nito Meeks. I'm guessing we all know Amina Blackwood Meeks, or at least we know who she is. So, among other things, she's a storyteller, motivational speaker, and a mother. Mother, in fact, to our other guest, Nito Meeks. Before his stroke, Nito was a multi-talented media practitioner, writer, performance poet, social development work, sketch artist, martial arts, and a model. Let me take a breath. That's a lot of stuff. That's a lot of stuff. Welcome to you both. How are you doing?
We're fine. Thank you so much, Sir Twain. Can I just attempt to pronounce his name properly? It's Neto. Neto.
Ah,
Did you hear me?
right, I did. So, our
Okay.
guest is Neto, and I'm happy I got that out of the way straight from the get-go. So I won't be having that concern anymore after this.
Great.
Right. So now
Great.
remember, everyone, we want to hear from you, our audience. Tell us about your experience recovering from stroke. Perhaps you're the one who suffered the stroke, or you're the family member of someone who had a stroke. Please WhatsApp your texts and voice notes to 876-997-3125. You may call the Love 101 studio lines at 876-968-8327 or 968-8328. You can also post on the Love 101 Facebook page, and you can comment as you watch on YouTube. By the way, for those who will be sending us voice notes via WhatsApp, please remember, keep those voice notes to 30 seconds or less. Great. So let's get straight into it. Stroke and stroke recovery. How did the stroke happen? When did it happen?
All right. I was in my room, Morton Park. You understand? Exercising, right? And Raw Lord, that's my friend, right? He come, right? I was reading a Bible, right? Exercising and reading a Bible, right? And Raw Law come, oh, Raw Law, good stuff. You understand? Like it. Me, yeah. Thanks a lot. I try. Right? All right. And Raw Law, good. Yo, I'll see you, right? Next time. I big up Raw Law, right? And just now, right? I see shaking, right? What's this, right? Then I fell. You understand? I can't move. I can't anything. Helpless. Again, the girl saw, right, and pick up, right, but I can't move. Sarah, the Sarah, that's my uh,
Just tell the story.
yeah. Sarah called. Oh, I don't. But then one of the guy picked me up, right, and call you, right. There's no answer, right. The guy hospital, right? He needs hospital. No, right. They go to hospital, right? And that's it. I'm looking, right, but I can't say anything. You understand? And we come hospital, everybody was there, right. You stepped in, right, and what's this, and but me can't say anything. Helpless. You understand? Yeah. And eventually 2 days, I everybody, Jinsu stayed, right? Sarah stayed, everybody help, right? But me can't say anything. But Jinsu, okay, I believe he smiled, me smile, start up. I can't talk, you understand? But
Yes.
Jinsu, okay, big up, right? I see well, he's doing well, Jinsu, right? And yeah. But eventually, right? So I was home, wheelchair, right. Everybody looking for you, right. Looking, Kunda, eyeball, and everybody, right. But I can't talk, right? I'm still on the wheelchair. You understand? And but eventually, that's it.
Ah, cool.
So
Go ahead.
So for quite a few months, as he's explaining, he couldn't talk. Maybe, I don't know, for the first 2 months, for the first 3 months, he had only one word, and that one word was help. And then whoever heard the word help had to figure out, what does it mean at this point in time? Let us not go into how the brain works, because I'm not a scientist, but some my high school biology, something named a synapse, and it closes, and it closes so quickly we're able to talk, but his didn't close. So when he was outside in the yard exercising, he realized that something was wrong. He called for help, and that's where the brain was stuck for so many months. All he could say was help, but he was having other thoughts.
Yeah.
And then you just had to figure out what help mean this time.
But I know everything. You understand? I know everything, but
you
my
just can't say
mind
anything.
there.
Right.
Right.
So question, because Nito, you look rather young. How old were you when you had the stroke?
35. So that was 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing persons out there would
Yes.
probably be saying, isn't stroke generally an old person thing? And he was exercising, so he seems to have been somebody fit. How did someone this young have a
Yes.
stroke?
Yes. Well, you know, a long time ago, I like to believe that I'm always healthy. And a long time ago, I got ill, and I thought, how is this? I mean, how? And he said that being healthy is no guarantee that you will stay healthy. What it helps you to do is to get better faster. So that is something I always carry with me. But in the months after Neto had his stroke, and we try not to use that word, there were reports here in the newspaper in Jamaica about an 11-year-old having a stroke. In fact, there is a category of strokes called strokes in the young. So there are various reasons that young people will get strokes, and they really differ from person to person. In Neto's case, Neto used to be, and I'm knocking wood now because we're done with that. Neto used to be a migraine sufferer. Neto is also a sickle cell carrier. And both of those things mean, and so am I, by the way, and both of those things mean that at the time of crisis, there is reduced oxygen getting to the brain. And if there is reduced oxygen getting to the brain, it could result in what we loosely call a stroke, which we try not to use. One of his therapists loved to say, an insult of the brain. And that sounds less permanent. And that sounds like something you can deal with. So that's what it was in Net's case. And then we also learned that you don't have to be in stroke to manifest. And after Netta was hospitalized, I came to find out that for the 3 days prior to that, he had a headache. But because we're so accustomed to having these headaches, when the headaches come, we don't pay them no mind. Oh, I have a headache again. All right, life goes on. And in 3 days' time or 4 days' time, I will be fine. But in this particular instance, it turned out differently.
So I'm gathering that when he had the insult of the brain, that's what you were calling.
Yes.
Right. So you wouldn't have been there, and they were trying to reach you, but they didn't reach you. Is that the case?
That is the case. Now, one of the things we know about a stroke is that you need immediate intervention of oxygen, immediate application of oxygen. So I believe that had I been at home, things would have turned out differently, because my belief, my philosophy, my teaching, my experience says, if you have a problem, you head to the university hospital. I have great trust in that. That is a teaching institution. So you're going to find somebody who working on, studying on, teaching on, or researching whatever you're going through. But I wasn't here because God moved in a mischievous way. I'm very mischievous. And so when my friends who were here, and thank God for good relationship with neighbors, because it was a neighbor who observed that Netta was just exercising, and know him in the dirt, and I don't see him move. And I don't know any exercise that put you in the dirt and you don't move. So let me scream for help. And she did. So
I'm guessing the neighbor would be Sarah.
Yes, the neighbor who first saw him.
Yeah.
Okay.
The neighbor who first. But there were friends who were visiting in the house. But Netta was outside exercising and reading his Bible, as he said. And so they picked him up and took him to the nearest hospital. Which I'm not going to call any name because we're not doing any promo. But you would have to pass it to get to the university hospital. But no, they took him there and oxygen was immediately applied. Yes, they did try to get me. I was in a meeting and my phone was turned off or on vibrate or something like that. And the pen in my hand ran out of ink. And I love to take notes. So I want a pen. And everybody around the table is offering me a pen. And for some reason that only God knows, I didn't want their pen. I picked up my bag to get my own pen, and my phone was vibrating. It was the 7th time that they were calling me. So I don't know if you're half crazy as me, but half crazy people think say there is meaning in that. And so by the time I picked up my phone, they were already at the hospital.
So how did you react in that moment when you would have heard, because I'm guessing you were able to hear that, this had happened and they had taken him to the hospital. What was your initial reaction?
I have a personality like a duck. When you see a duck swimming on the water, Lord, it looks so easy, man. The duck is having a good time. But if you put a camera under the water and you see your foot, so I was sailing through. I'm blessed with being good in a crisis. When the crisis is over, I will fall apart. But while it is going on, it's no time for me to fall apart. So I was doing what needed to be done, and I was hearing everybody. I am a Reiki practitioner, by the way. If we're both Reiki practitioners, if that makes sense to you, it's a healing art form that requires you, right? And so the first thing I did when I got to the hospital was to begin a Reiki treatment. So I knew I had to be doing that. There was me just do it. And then during the course of the day, there were a couple times. So he was eventually transferred to the university hospital. And there were a couple times, literally a couple, maybe even less, maybe just one, when I heard the doctor say, "Get mommy out of the room." So there must have been a moment where I fell apart. But then I came right back to it. And when I look back, we've kept a journal, and I wish I had picked up the pile of exercise books, because we kept a journal for maybe the first 3.5 years. Every day we wrote something. And on that first day, I look back, I myself can't believe that I was so much in the moment, because I heard somebody use the phrase. So I have a way of knowing what to ignore, because I heard the phrase massive stroke and I ignored that. But I also heard the phrase strokes in the young. And I opened my computer and I Googled strokes in the young. And this brain anatomist came up. Her name is Jill Bolte Taylor. She's not a brain surgeon, she's a brain anatomist. So she knows what the brain look like, how it function, and so on. And when she was 27, she had a stroke. It took her 8 years to remember who she was. And she's documenting in this book, My Stroke of Insight, what her. And the first thing she said was, when she was trying to talk, she heard very clearly what she was saying, but persons heard woo 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 woo, cannot sound now come out. But as far as she knows, so immediately I knew what was happening to Neto. The other thing that so the first day I'm learning this. Even now, 10 years later, I'm astonished. And the second thing that Jill Bolte Taylor said is that she didn't know where her body ended and another object begun. So she was tumbling down and all of these things. Well, on day 2, we're feeding Neto. Now, feeding means I'm going to take half of a fork full of the food, and him don't want no more. And you come back next meal time and you try give him the other fork full. So there I am, the second meal for the day, serious thing. Second of the day, and I'm trying to feed him, and he's recoiling. He's recoiling from whatever is on the. I went right into teacher mode. I said, Neto, you remember food? This is a fork, and this is what you're going to eat. And he's recoiling, and I don't understand. And I'm looking at the fork, and you know what, sir? No one little ants upon the food. And Neto see the ants and knows that ants is not to be eaten. I mean, jump up in a people in the hospital. Me say, he's not Jill Bolte Taylor. Him see the ants. And so every moment, every movement was a celebration. As a matter of fact, for the first year, maybe year and a half, every Saturday or Sunday, and sometimes on a Friday, we had a celebration prayer meeting at home. If I tell you, say I have 300 cousins, don't doubt me. I have 300 cousins and maybe more. And I can name them by name and where them live. My mother had 33 brothers and sisters. My father had 16 sisters. They average 5 picnic a piece and feed them picnic. So if I tell you I have 300 cousins, don't doubt me. And when you have a family this large, you can find everything in that family. The family have a whole heap of priests, from Bobo priests down to regular priests. And so in this house, one of them would come and we would have a prayer meeting. And whatever state Neto was in, we would give thanks that we've gotten through another week. And we would have cook up a big pot of food for that day there. And we eat it and celebrate. And me go say no. And we open back line. No, we not drink. But we open sparkling juice. We open and so for the entire time, we have just given thanks for wherever we are. The stroke happened 4 days before Mother's Day, 2011. And that was the best Mother's Day of my life. Because on that Mother's Day, I had my son, whom I could have lost days before. So through it all, I've never seen Neto sad. If you ask Neto how he is, he will say, I'm giving thanks. I've seen him impatient, very impatient. I've seen him very stubborn. I'm not one going to doctor today. Not taking medicine today. I've seen that, but I haven't seen, poor me, why this thing happened. That's just not a part of how we are made up.
Right. So remember, audience, we still want to hear from you. We want to know how you have managed your stroke recovery journey. If you're someone who suffered a stroke, or if you're the loved one of someone who suffered a stroke, please tell us how it has been for you. Let me remind you of the numbers. For those who wish to WhatsApp us, you may send texts or voice notes to 876-997-3125. You can call the studio lines at 876-968-8327 or 876-968-8328. You can also post on the Love 101 Facebook page or comment on YouTube. Are there any comments for us so far? Not yet. So we'll take a break, and when we come back, we will give you those comments, and we will continue with our guests, Amina Blackwood Meeks and her son, Neto Meeks. This is Family Time. Stay tuned.
I say yeah, say cheese. Say cheese and keep on smiling. Oh, say cheese. Say cheese and keep on smiling. So much joy you bring, baby. Where you're gonna, people have to smile. Say cheese, yes, say cheese. I just love you bring, baby. Where you're gonna, people have to smile.
We are all champions. Stay strong, Jamaica. Happy Cheese Month from Tasty Cheese.
Need to pass your CSEC CAPE exams to get that dream job or to qualify for university? Then Distinction College is the school for you. We have locations in Kingston, Spanish Town, St. Elizabeth, and Ocho Rios. Start day, evening, and Saturday classes this coming term and sit CSEC CAPE exams for January's resit or May, June. Maths, law, science, English. We have the lowest school fees. Register before the end of the month and win an entire term free. Call us at 354-8560.
The Ministry of Labour and Social Security is advising the public that its St. James Parish office will be relocated to its original home at 4 Sam Sharp Square, Montego Bay, effective Wednesday, September 1, 2021. The telephone numbers and email addresses will remain the same. The ministry apologizes for the inconveniences this may cause and looks forward to serving you even better.
See it, want it, get it with a summer loan from Chris and Charles. Borrow up to $3 million. Get low interest rates and fast approval. Call 876-920-4189 for details or apply online at www.chrisandcharles.com. Conditions apply. When you think loans, think Chris and Charles.
Become the hero on the scene by taking the COVID vaccine. Get vaccinated as soon as you get all the facts. Don't listen to the rumors. This vaccine might just make it possible for teachers to sit face to face with schoolers. This vaccine make it safer for everybody, from the young to the elderly. Don't you want to go back to living normally when things were more orderly? And if you want to live a long good life, then we all have to do what's right. So let's get vaccinated along with the heroes on the front line. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Welcome back to Family Time on Love 101 FM. We're talking stroke recovery with our guest Amina Blackwood Meeks and her son Neto Meeks. Have you friended us on Facebook yet? If you haven't, I'm encouraging you. Become a friend of Family Life Ministries on Facebook. Use FLM Family Life Ministries. You can also follow us on Instagram at FLMJA. And of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Family Life Ministries FLMJA. If you want the numbers for our head office, here they are: 876-920-1034 or 876-926-8101. Let's see what our listeners and watchers have been saying re our question.
All right, so this one says, good evening. My name is Grace. I suffered a stroke in 2016, and I'm hoping that I will recover from it. My left side is affected. We're going to be playing about 2 voice notes, starting with this one. Let's play this one first. Here we go.
Hey, Amelia, bless up yourself, man, and bless up your son, Neto. God Almighty, Neto Meeks. Bless him up for me, man, coming from brother, sister, Yolanda, and the whole brother family, Miss Edith, Barlow, and Mighty God, the Barnett family, you know. Keep everybody. Bless up yourself, man, Neto. Bless up. Knowing Neto, man, him always I say, I'm giving thanks. Him always a humble youth. Bless up. Never knew he had this massive strokes, but thanks be to God, he's alive, you know. Just bless him up for me. I know him I listen to. Bless up yourself, Neto. Mix, Camille, this brother, sister. Bless up yourself.
All right, Camille, let's go to another one.
Good afternoon. I have a sister who have triple strokes. She had problem walking, blurred speech, eyesight has been on and off, and seems to get depressed and cry a lot. We have to get a psychiatrist to see her to give her a tablet for her to stop crying. But most of all, I would love to know, is there a group that we can communicate with people who have strokes so we can get better help for her? We would love to know how we can move on from here with her. She is 54 years old. Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, so that's the final one. Over to you, Sir Twain.
Thank you very much, Roshane. And from Facebook, we see, I can relate to his experience, but thanks be to God today, I'm much better. And that's coming from Jackie Douglas. Thank you very much for joining in, Jackie. So, welcome back, Amina. I almost said Amelia too, but Amina and
Yes.
Nettie.
Yeah.
Great.
The network of support, Sir Twain, is very, very important. So let me start at the beginning and then say where we are now.
Right.
Family support is important. In fact, from the day it happened, when we go to the hospital, sometimes we believe that all the rules are set and we can't ask a question, but we can. One of the questions we asked was, could we have somebody with him for 24 hours a day so he would not be alone? And the answer was yes.
So
and
would that
so
be
we
at the
submitted.
hospital or
Yes, at the hospital.
or
At the
family members
hospital.
there with him?
Yes.
Okay.
There is a process, protocol our shift, because as I say, enough away and all the friends that you heard him name and enough friend. So it was easy to work out. Each person can do 4-hour shift for a day or 4 hours every 2 days. And then we submitted that list to the hospital and we followed it faithfully. So we never try squeezing 2 visitors one time, 1 visitor. And they had a list of who was to be there. That's very important. Family support is also very important. At that time, Neto had both sets of grandparents alive. And people who know them grandparents know how important that is. And him have two completely different set of grandparents, right? But they all chimed in to do their part. And a very important part is this is an unexpected financial something. You never expect it. If it's only the medication, you never expect it. But if you want to go into therapies, and Neto had a speech therapist, he had a physio who came here. I continue to work.
Manuel.
Yes, yeah. So called a nutritionist. Yes. We can call the name because it's free advertisement. A nutritionist. I continue to work, but I needed to be able to work just to get through it. So, and a nurse for when I was not at home. And then he went to swimming as well. So when we reach 5 therapists, because part of the healing for as well is to keep busy and to keep active. Where the money I go come from? We not ask nobody.
I was thinking about that as well. How does one recover in a financially the dent that it puts in your bank account? I'm supposing it puts a dent.
Right.
So that's very important for us to understand. So go ahead.
Yes. One time I got crazy and I said, I go and sell my house. And somebody, and when you better one I go. Me never think about the part there. But the minute he came out of the hospital, his paternal grandmother wrote a check and said, make this carry you through until you get accustomed to it. And then so all of us can muster those resources, no matter what economic level you are, because you can't make the grandmother carry that forever. But you have 2 auntie and 2 uncle and so many cousins. And all right, one of them say, okay, this month, I'm going to pay the speech therapy. And the next one, all right, now I'm going to pay the physio. And then when one person can't do it, everybody jump in and say, okay, this month, the bill is so much. Sit there until we were able to ease into it. That's very important. Look here, Jamaicans know a partner. So if you do not have family members who can go into their pockets like that, treat it like a partner. Treat it like a partner and say, me I throw my hand today. This is my hand. My hand is $5 or $10 or whatever it is. Because it is a sudden jerk. and you need that to get through. So family and friends were and continue to be critical. For example, Neto traveled last year. And so for the first time, last year would have been the 9th year. For the first time in 9 years, he was not going to his speech therapist every week, once a week. But he went to visit his cousins in Florida. And when he came back from Florida, he had 3 times the vocabulary he left with. Because you're around people who are chat. You're around people who are chat morning, noon, and night. So when he came back, we said, okay, make us see if we cannot go to the speech therapist so often, and what will happen if people come around you and chat all the time. So that's very important. And Neto said, so he might want to say something about that. But let me come to the call of viewer supporter who said, what to do? Where can I go for assistance? We recently launched a foundation called the Art and Soul Neto Meeks Foundation, and we launched it on Father's Day this year. I'm an artist, and I know what art has done for me. I teach in the arts, and I see what art has done for my students. It in the book, it in the theoretical concept, but me see it with my own 2 eyes over the many years I have been teaching, telling stories, and I see it with my son. And so we decided that set up a foundation to do many things. The first thing is to say, whatever level you're at, you're productive. Don't make nobody tell you about, say, your left side can't work or your right side can't work. The side that can work is productive. Whatever you can do. The baby who is just learning to walk, fall down and bruise his knee several times. That means him not learn to walk. So we want to emphasize whatever level you're at, you are productive. And clearly, we want to be able to show to the world what music and art and a grounded spiritual belief can do. Go look it up. The lady who says that sometimes she's so depressed, go look it up, how depression hurt your internal organs, hurt your capacity to think. You know, when you're in Sunday school, you learn a smile is just a frown, turn it down, turn it the other way around. Yes. And see if you don't feel better. And so the foundation is set up to do that. And since we launched foundation, you'd be surprised how many people have said to us, did you know that so-and-so had a stroke? They the support group, and so had a stroke. They have so now we're seeing how we can network with other people to be this movement that said, look here, man, we can sing, we can dance, we can paint, we can crochet, whatever level of productivity. And the more productive you are, the more you heal, the more you can. Jamaican, I can. It's the more you will be able to do. So we're happy to receive persons that we can demonstrate this to. The foundation will be going. There's a school that has agreed already. 1 week, Neto will come and perform for the students. And many things will happen there. He will have to use words. They will be engaged. They will be learning to write. They will be seeing themselves as it's an inner city school. They'll see that, so you can do. And Neto will be getting words.
Right.
And there are other things we have planned. But
right. I was saying I want for us as well to zoom in on how specifically the art would have helped Neto in his recovery. But just before I get there, let me go to the WhatsApp messages. I believe we have a few WhatsApp messages. The WhatsApp message. When my grandmother had a stroke, she wanted to go back to the country, but unfortunately, she wasn't well enough to go. She wasn't content in Kingston, but we tried to visit her as much as possible. We brought her her favorite foods and would talk to her and remind her of better times. And that's coming from ATW. Another WhatsApp says, "Good afternoon. I'm Sister Pat from Tivoli, and I got a stroke 2019. This year make 2 years in Miami, Florida, and it makes me can't use my left hand. I got it on the right side, so it affects my right side. But I give thanks because it could be worse. Was at a hotel getting ready to go to the airport to come back to Jamaica, and I sit on a bench and drop off the seat, and I was admitted in the hospital up there for a month." So we have two examples there: one of someone who had a stroke, and another of a family member who had a member suffering from stroke. So tell us, Amina and Neto, what art forms?
Yeah.
I know he's a performance poet. Was that a part of the way that recovery was enabled and sped up?
You want me to answer, Neto?
I can answer.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, I was arts. I perform art. I love arts. You understand? I'm an artsman. You understand?
Drawing.
Yeah, drawing and other things, right? All right. Before I was doing something, you know, I was performing at Royal African Soldiers concerts, right? Three and my friends, Jinsu and Takura, right? We're everywhere. You understand? We're perform, right? Everywhere, name it, right? And me to something, help my country, right? All right. But I was unable. You understand? All right. I said to myself, I can't do this. Something is I do
something is missing.
Missing. First of all, here in my room, right? Doing nothing, right? And I don't do something to do, right? Mom said, I'll piano, play piano. I play piano long time. You understand? You understand? Mom said, buy a piano, right? And play. And teacher, Mr. Brown, right? It's all taken care of. Moment, right? Okay.
Can I butt in?
Yeah.
Music is very important. When he was little, he went to piano lessons. But when you're little, you don't recognize that these things have any value. So it never have no value. Okay. So I'm big now and him have the stroke. And in order, there are many exercises that you could do to bring your hand back. And I was going to get him a little something to use to exercise the hands. And somebody said to me, music is a great way to rewire the brain. It really is. It's as if you are learning a new language. But your whole body is learning this new language. So we got him a keyboard, and only the left hand could play on the keyboard. And every week, me and the music teacher, I say, show me a plan. I want a plan. How long will you take him from point A to point B? And the man I said, me no know. We just have to go on. And eventually, for me want to see the plan. as plays left hand, the right hand begins to mimic it because the whole body is learning new language. So follow fashion me now when him start get good now and him a play Bob Marley and him a play folk song. Follow fashion me now. Me want learn the keyboard too. So me go buy a keyboard and the same music teacher I go teach me give up because to learn to play the keyboard is an intricate something to coordinate your left hand and your right hand and read where the notes them are set and play at the same time, and it's complex. And so music is critical, and not just playing an instrument, although that's part of the route that we've taken. But if I hear a new singer and I'm not sure who it is or what them saying, I ask Neto, because he still maintains his interest in music, and he can tell me the latest thing Barry's Hammond do, and so on and so on and so forth. So it's critical to maintain the interest that you've had. There are many ways that a stroke can affect the brain, and we were blessed that the way in which Neto was affected is that everything is there. It's just not in the same place. So initially, for example, he had, oh yes, let's say that when Calabash Literary Festival opened years ago, maybe 12 or 15 years now, I don't quite recall, Neto was the first performer at the first Calabash, and I was the last performer at the first Calabash, and that's a story. Because when I turn up and things say I'm wonderful now, and I come to close Calabash, and Alwyn Bully is introducing all of the Calabash closers, myself, Faye Ellison, Alwyn Scott, and Kwame Dawes, and so on, I didn't know an impact Neto had made at that opening. So Alwyn Bully give everybody them props. Faye Ellington is this, and this one is that, and this one is that. He comes to me and he says, and you all remember Neto, this is his mother. So that was all the introduction I got. So he's a Calabash, as they call themselves. He is in the 10th anniversary anthology of Calabash. So his poems appear in that publication. Neto went back to Calabash. Neto has performed at the last 3 Calabash literary festivals. Yes. So he's gone right back to the stage. As a matter of fact, now he creates poetry again, and I will hear him in the mornings rehearsing what he has created. So yeah, we can go back. We can go back to the things we love, and we can do it again. We might not do it in the same way, and we might not do it with the same intention. One of the things we are sure of is that this has been a spiritual journey. I don't know what God I try to prove. Every day may I ask him, and sometimes me get very impatient with him and promise to report him to his mother for for him now tell me where I'm going with. Yes, I have that. Neto maintains his faith, and I don't know if him get upset with God. But me and God have some serious discussions about going here. So, but what we know is it's a spiritual journey. And as long as you live in a community, in a family, in a geographical location, in a country, in a society, nothing which happens to you is for you alone. So as we learn the lessons, we share them, and we continue on learning, knowing, say, journey not done yet.
Yeah.
And there is a lot more to learn and share.
Yeah. Give thanks for life. You understand me? Give thanks for life, because you don't know. But first of all, I know the life of life. You understand? I know because I could have, understand, I could die, and my mind, things, thoughts, wow, I'm alive. You understand? Then I can't talk. You understand? Help, but I'm alive. That's so called count. You understand? Many brothers died. Reasons. You understand? Right? Give thanks for life. You understand? Time. I take a breath. Right. I look up at the sky. Morning. Right? Jah, Rastafari. I don't most high. Right? Because life precious. You understand? Yeah.
The value of life. I can definitely see that this is one of those experiences which has drawn you together as a family, and it has really impacted you. And as you said, it's a journey, and it's something from which you have learned, and it's something that has moved you as well to impact the community through the foundation and through your own story, which is impacting so many persons today. We want to thank you very, very much for having come on and having shared with us today, so that many persons who had stroke and they weren't sure, what could we try? We've heard about the arts and how music has had a great impact, and the fact that life does not end because you've had a stroke or because your brain has been insulted. And I like that term, but you have to continue going and growing. Right. So thank you very much.
May I just say this, Twain?
Yes.
Yeah. May I just say this? We are performers, and there are people who would be going through this journey who are not performance artists, but they have other kinds of art form. Them can be a pudding. Them can crochet. It's not just to get up and sing and dance and tell story and write poetry. No, there are other kinds of art forms in which we can become involved. We can't thank you enough, because at this point in our lives, we are about sharing the information and encourage other people to be thankful for life, to be joyous, especially in this COVID time, that you learn, hey, look here today, gone tomorrow. Nobody go quarrel with no. Seriously, nobody in no quarrel. And pre-stroke, I had my own philosophy, which is, sir, something, but next week to be upset. No. Then if me now go be upset about it next week, when me are upset for today, yes, I saw me deal. So me now bother, me not the upset, because next week me now go be upset, and next year me I go forget it. And this experience has just cemented that in me. What is it all about? God at this point in time have 7 billion people in the world. Sometimes we don't have time to see one another. Then the little time me have to see you, never waste it on something which is negative. It's not worth it. Trust me. And we're clear about that. I want to thank you so very much for allowing us this platform to be able to share. And there's lots more. Neto has his own website on which he displays the paintings that he has done, because he's now painting and drawing superheroes. Yes. And him is a superhero, and Marcus Garvey is a superhero. Him don't draw Nancy yet as a superhero, but me nah say nothing. Make him go.
I think the superheroes will be a story for. That would be very interesting. Yes. So I will be sure to check that out to see what superheroes come up, and if he really brings the Anansi superhero, so that you won't have any complaints with him beyond that.
Right.
Our guest today on Family Time were Amina Blackwood Meeks and Neto Meeks. Definitely, it has been a great story, and we're happy that you could have joined us as well. Thanks for being here with us, our audience. If you have any questions of a personal nature or are concerned about a friend or family member, call us at Family Life Ministries. For our center in Portmore at 170 in Cecil Avenue, call 876-939-7917. For counselors in Kingston and other parts of the island, contact our head office at 876 920 1034 or 876 926 8101, and we will connect you. Remember, if you or someone you know would like counseling on dealing with any issue in family, relationships, or just everyday life, make contact with us and Family Life Ministries will help you. Note that appointments can only be made by calling the offices. Otherwise, to keep up to date with what's happening with FLM and our programs, find us on Facebook at FLM Family Life Ministries, on Instagram at FLMJA, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Family Life Ministries FLMJA. Before you leave, here is this evening's verse. But I will restore you to health and heal your wounds, declares the Lord. And that's from Jeremiah 30, verse 17. Join us again next week at 5:30 on Love 101 on Facebook and on our YouTube channel for another informative program in the series Family Time. Thanks to our show producer, Kathy Gale, Open Door Communications, studio facilitator, Roshane Douglas, and of course, you, our audience. Stay well, stay safe, and stay blessed. I'm Sir Twain.
This is Love 101 FM. Thank you